Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources, articles, research, all that good stuff, and we really boil it down. We're looking for the most important bits, the things that make you go, aha, maybe even the stuff that feels surprisingly personal.
Yeah, cutting through the noise.
Exactly. And today, we are plunging into something that, let's be honest, touches pretty much every single part of our lives now.
Oh, definitely.
That glowing rectangle in your pocket.
Yeah.
The smartphone. Or rather, its future.
It's amazing how fast it became, well, ubiquitous, isn't it? For billions of people, it's not just a gadget.
Yeah.
It feels like an extension of their hand, maybe even their brain, a part of their identity, really.
Totally. And that leads us to the big question for this deep dive, and it's a pretty deep one. Is the smartphone era, is it actually ending, winding down? And if it is, what on earth comes next? What could possibly fill that space? Or maybe redefine how we even think about technology.
Right. Is it replacement or is it evolution?
That's what we want to unpack today. We've got a ton of insights,
Yeah.
some really surprising facts, different viewpoints from all the material we looked at,
Yeah.
all about how mobile tech has evolved, and crucially, the impact it's had on us.
Yeah, and continues to have.
Exactly. This isn't just about, guessing the next cool gadget. It's about understanding what this massive shift could mean for you.
Yeah.
How your day-to-day life might change.
Yeah.
Maybe subtly,
Yeah.
maybe dramatically.
Yeah.
And what are the hurdles, the opportunities ahead? So, yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it, because the path of this little device, it's way more complicated than just, a new model every year.
Right.
We're really looking at the start of a fundamental change, how humans interact with tech, and through that, how we interact with each other, with the world itself.
So it's bigger than just hardware.
Oh, much bigger. It's about, the fabric of modern life, how it's being rewoven.
Okay, so to figure out where we're going, we probably need to look back first.
Yeah.
Understand the journey.
Always helps.
Before these super sleek glass things we all carry, mobile communication started with something. Well, they called it the brick for a reason.
The brick, yeah. And it wasn't just bulky, it was eye-wateringly expensive.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the Motorola Dynatac 8000X back in 1983.
Wow, 83?
Yeah. And this was not for your average Joe. It cost nearly $4,000 back then.
4,000 in 1983 money.
Exactly. Adjusted for inflation, so it's huge. It was pure status symbol, a luxury item.
So what did you get for your $4,000?
You got a phone that weighed almost 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
Gave you maybe 30 minutes of talk time. After charging it for 10 hours. It looked like something out of, an old sci-fi movie.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? How far we've come from that first kind of clunky vision.
Absolutely. It was a glimpse of the future, but a very, very basic one. And only for the super wealthy.
Incredible. The tech limits back then must have been immense. Okay, so the Dynatac was step one. But the smart part, that started to build up later, right?
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Yeah, kind of quietly. A lot of people might not even know about the IBM Simon from 1992.
The Simon. I think I've heard of that. Wasn't it kind of like the first smartphone?
Yeah.
Before they even called them that?
Pretty much. It had this monochrome touchscreen.
Touchscreen in 92.
Yeah, and it came with apps preloaded, like a calendar, dress book, calculator, even a little sketch pad.
No way.
And it could send and receive faxes and emails, which was, revolutionary for a mobile device then.
Wow. So it was like this forgotten ancestor, setting the stage for everything we take for granted now.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is the actual term smartphone. It came way before the iPhone.
Oh, really? Who coined it?
Ericsson. Back in 1995, they used it for a prototype called the GS88, nicknamed Penelope.
Penelope. Did it ever launch?
No, Penelope never made it to the public, but just the fact that they were thinking, conceptualizing, and naming something a smartphone that early, it tells you a lot. They were already seeing beyond just calls. They envisioned this smart, versatile companion device.
So the idea was already there, waiting for the tech to catch up.
Pretty much. And that idea of cramming more functions into one device really started gaining steam around the year 2000.
Right, like cameras.
Exactly. The Sharp JSH04 released in Japan in 2000. That was the first phone with a built-in camera that you could actually buy.
What was the camera like? Must have been tiny.
Oh, minuscule by today's standards. 0.11 megapixels.
Wow.
But you could snap a picture and email it, or send it via MMS. Suddenly your phone wasn't just for talking, it was for capturing moments.
That's a big shift. Merging gadgets. Camera, phone, maybe your PDA. All starting to become one thing.
That was the beginning of the convergence trend, and it fundamentally changed how we saw the world and how we shared it.
So the early 2000s were like the experimentation phase, testing out web browsing, email, basic apps.
Yeah, laying the groundwork. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared the world for the seismic shock that hit in 2007.
Ah, yes. You know where this is going, the iPhone moment.
The iPhone moment.
January 2007, Steve Jobs walks on stage. And it wasn't just unveiling a new phone. Our sources call it a cultural shockwave.
That's a good way to put it. It didn't just tweak how we used phones. It completely rewrote the rulebook for human-device interaction.
Before that, it was all physical keypads, maybe a stylus, clunky navigation button.
Right. Then suddenly you had this multi-touch interface, pinch to zoom, swiping through photos. It felt intuitive, almost magical.
And it put the real internet in your pocket, didn't it? Not some stripped-down mobile version.
Exactly. It made complex things feel simple, effortless. It brought the web and eventually a whole universe of software via the App Store right to your fingertips like nothing before.
And it became, well, everything. Our sources say it turned phones into pocket computers. Suddenly, one device was your camera, your GPS, your news source, music player, social hub.
It was this incredible convergence combined with user-friendliness that just exploded. It changed daily life almost overnight for millions, then billions.
Yeah, it democratized access to what felt like serious computing power. And it totally shifted our expectations of what a phone should do.
And the App Store, launching the next year, just cemented that. Created a whole new economy around mobile software, changed how we consume, how we create, everything.
And from 2007 onwards, boom. The next decade, 2010 to 2020, was just this period of explosive growth.
Unbelievable growth.
Android and iOS basically took over the world. These two ecosystems didn't just make smartphones dominant. They wove technology so deeply into society.
Right into the fabric.
They became indispensable, almost invisible in a way, because they're just there, part of life for billions. It's kind of hard to imagine life without them now, isn't it?
It really is, but this super fast integration, it wasn't just about making life easier or more connected, it did something profound to us.
How so?
Well, it changed us, not just how we work or watch videos, but deep down, psychologically, maybe even vitologically.
Okay, now this is where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah.
And maybe a little unsettling for some people.
The human equation.
Right, yeah. Our sources talk about how these devices are kind of literally rewiring our brains. Leading to addictive behaviors, shifts in how we think.
Let's start with the dopamine loop theory.
Okay, the dopamine loop. Explain that.
So every single time your phone buzzes or pings or shows a notification, a new email, a like on social media, a text message, your brain gets a tiny little hit of dopamine. That's the neurochemical linked to pleasure, reward, motivation. And it creates this powerful feedback loop. A psychological conditioning. App designers, game developers, they've become masters at tapping into this.
Like how?
Think about infinite scroll on Instagram or Twitter, or the little red notification badges, or streaks in apps like Snapchat. They're all designed to give you that little dopamine hit, that sense of reward or novelty, keeping you coming back for more.
Makes it hard to put the phone down.
Incredibly hard. It's conditioning, often happening without us even realizing it.
And it can get weird, right? Like that phantom vibration thing.
Exactly, phantom vibration syndrome.
Yeah.
Where people genuinely feel their phone vibrating in their pocket or hear a ping.
But nothing actually happened.
Correct. Studies show a huge percentage of smartphone users have experienced this. It's a startling illustration of how deeply attuned our brains have become to these devices. We're constantly anticipating that next little digital nudge, almost like a reflex.
Wow. Our brains are literally adapting. And then there's the social side. That phrase from Sherry Turkle, being alone together. That really hit me.
It's a powerful paradox, isn't it? We're more digitally connected theoretically than any humans in history, always reachable, always seeing updates.
Yeah.
But Turkle argues, and a lot of research supports this, that many of us feel more emotionally detached. We struggle with deeper face-to-face relationships. Loneliness rates are up.
Why? Because the quality of connection is different online.
Partly that, and partly because even when we are physically with people, our attention is often fractured. We're half present, mentally drifting back to the device, unable to give our full engagement.
That constant pull.
And this has really serious implications long term, especially for kids growing up now. The sources mention the iGen, those born after about 2010.
The smartphone natives.
Right. And the research is showing some worrying trends. Higher rates of anxiety, depression, loneliness reported among them compared to previous generations.
And they spend less time hanging out in person.
Significantly less time socializing face-to-face, less time on outdoor activities or hobbies, more time on screens. We're still figuring out the long-term impact on their mental health, their social skills. It's a huge area of concern.
It's not just our brains being rewired then, it's society itself.
Definitely. Think about phones as status symbols. It's not just about utility anymore, is it?
No way. Having the latest model, the best camera, it signals something. Status, being up to date, maybe wealth.
Absolutely. Those cues outside Apple stores on launch day, that's not just about wanting a new phone, it's cultural.
And this ties into that sociology idea, the presentation of self.
Exactly. Irving Goffman's concept, he said we're always performing, curating how we appear to others.
Like actors on a stage?
Sort of. And social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, they've taken this performance to a whole new level.
Creating these perfect online lives.
Often, yeah. These curated realities. Showing the highlight reel, projecting an image, the happy traveler, the perfect couple, the successful entrepreneur. It puts immense pressure on people, blurs the line between the real self and the performed self.
And then there's work, the always-on culture.
Oh, that's a big one. The boundaries just dissolved, didn't they?
Totally. Your office is right there in your pocket 24/7. Emails, Slack messages, client calls. They can pop up anytime, anywhere.
It was sold as flexibility, but the reality for many is burnout, chronic stress, emotional fatigue.
Because you can never truly switch off.
It's incredibly difficult to disconnect, to find that protected personal time. We're always accessible, but are we really present, even to ourselves?
Which kind of brings us nicely to where we are right now, the present. The smartphone is everywhere, it's changed us. But things are shifting again, aren't they?
They are. We're at this really interesting inflection point. Our sources suggest that around now, 2025, the smartphone market is hitting, well, technological saturation.
Saturation?
Yeah.
Okay, but phones still get better each year, right? New models, faster chips, better cameras. What does saturation really mean here? Does it mean innovation is dead?
That's a really important point. No, it doesn't mean innovation is dead. Phones are still improving. But the kind of innovation is changing.
How so?
The huge revolutionary leaps, the kind of groundbreaking change the first iPhone represented, those are becoming much rarer.
So things like foldable screens.
Foldables are cool, visually interesting. Modular phones, slightly better cameras, smarter AI within the phone. They're mostly incremental improvement.
Refining the rectangle.
Exactly. Making the existing form factor faster, slicker, maybe a bit more capable, but not fundamentally changing the core interaction model. We're still tapping on glass.
Okay, and this plateau, this is what opens the door for whatever comes next.
Precisely. It sets the stage for the next big wave, which many are calling ambient computing.
Ambient computing. Sounds very sci-fi. What is that exactly? Like computers in the air?
Not quite. It's more the idea that technology starts to blend into the environment. It becomes less obvious, less intrusive, more integrated into our surroundings.
Instead of a thing we hold and stare at.
Right. Imagine tech that's just there. Always on, maybe anticipating what you need, but largely invisible. Responding without you needing to pull out a screen or tap an app.
So the tech fades into the background.
That's the vision. Shifting from being device-focused to being human-focused. The tech just serves you seamlessly.
Okay, so it's about decentralizing the smartphone. Taking away its job as the one ring to rule them all.
You got it. And we're already seeing the beginnings of this. Look at AI wearables.
Like the Humane AI pin. That thing got a lot of buzz.
It did. Launched in 2024. And it's a really bold move, isn't it? A screenless device you wear. It relies totally on voice, gestures, that laser projection onto your hand.
Yeah, the projection thing was wild.
It's a direct attempt to ditch the screen-centric model. Or think about Meta's Ray-Ban glasses.
All right, the smart glasses.
They subtly pack in a camera, speakers, an AI assistant into something you might wear anyway. Again, moving computing off the phone screen and onto your body, into your environment.
And we're already talking to Alexa or Google Assistant or Siri all the time, right? Getting info, controlling lights.
Exactly. And with things like ChatGPT 4o getting integrated, these voice interactions are becoming way more powerful. You can do complex stuff without touching your phone. It feels more natural, like a conversation.
Okay, wearables, voice. What else points towards this ambient future?
Well, then you get into the really cutting edge stuff like brain-computer interfaces.
Right.
BCIs.
Whoa. Like Neuralink.
Precisely. Neuralink is already doing clinical trials, putting chips in human brains. That's the ultimate integration, isn't it?
Mind-blowing.
Bypassing screens, maybe even voice, interacting with tech, controlling things, maybe even communicating just by thinking. It completely changes the definition of interface.
It really does. And suddenly it makes sense why things like Apple's Vision Pro or the Meta Quest 3, why they call them spatial computers.
Right, not just VR headsets, not phone accessories.
They're positioning them as a whole new kind of computing.
Exactly. Moving beyond the flat screen into this immersive 3D environment where digital stuff overlays onto your real world. You're not looking at the computer, you're in it.
It's a different paradigm, from a personal device to a personal computing space.
It is. But as we head into this new territory, we need to be careful. There are a lot of myths floating around and some pretty uncomfortable truths we need to face about how these changes happen.
Okay, good point. Let's bust a myth. What's a big one?
The idea that smartphones will just vanish, replaced overnight by the next big thing.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. This device will kill the iPhone.
Right. But history tells us transformative tech just doesn't work like that. Our sources are clear. No major tech revolution happens instantly.
Like the switch from landlines to mobiles.
Perfect example. That took decades. Landlines didn't just disappear in a year. Mobiles gradually took over. Landlines faded into a niche.
So, the post-smartphone future. It's probably going to be messy. A mix of things.
Almost certainly. We're likely looking at a long hybrid phase. Smartphones will stick around, coexisting with AI wearables, maybe those spatial computers, maybe even holographic interfaces down the line. It's an evolution, a gradual shift in habits, not a sudden replacement.
Okay, evolution, not revolution. Got it. Now, what about those uncomfortable truths?
Well, a huge one that only gets bigger in an ambient integrated world is the privacy versus convenience trade-off.
Ah, yes. Surveillance capitalism.
That's the term Shoshana Zuboff coined. This feeling a lot of us have of being trapped. We give away oceans of personal data, often without really understanding it, in exchange for using these free services.
And smartphones are basically tracking devices.
Pretty much. Our sources call them trackers wrapped in glass and aluminum. They know where you are, what you search for, who you talk to, what you buy, even your biometric data like fingerprints or face scans.
And scandals like Cambridge Analytica.
That was just the tip of the iceberg, really. It showed how easily this data could be harvested and used, in that case, for political targeting. But it highlighted the bigger issue. The sheer scale of data collection, the lack of transparency, the ethical questions about who owns our digital lives, and the potential for manipulation.
It feels like a bargain we didn't fully agree to.
And it gets more complex as tech blends into the background. If your glasses are recording, or your smart speaker is always listening, where are the boundaries?
That leads to questions about how governments are reacting.
Yeah.
Right? Are they stepping in?
Sometimes, yes, and in very different ways globally. Here's a fascinating, maybe lesser-known fact from our sources. In China, smartphone addiction, especially among young people, became such a big concern that the government actually stepped in to regulate usage for minors.
Regulate? How?
We're talking hard limits on daily screen time, especially for games and apps like Douyin, that's the Chinese version of TikTok, and even government-mandated curfews coded into the apps, blocking access for kids after certain hours.
Wow. That's direct intervention.
It's huge. It shows a government actively trying to shape digital habits on a national scale, citing risks to health, education, maybe even productivity. It raises massive questions about state control versus individual freedom, but it shows how seriously some places are taking the downsides.
Okay, so with all this happening, saturation, ambient computing, privacy fears, government action, what are the big thinkers predicting? Where do the experts see this heading?
Well, you've got futurists like Ray Kurzweil. He's been saying for years that smartphones and tech generally will eventually become implantable.
Implantable, like inside us.
Yeah, merging with our bodies. He even talks about neural dust, tiny sensors integrated with our brains. It's a vision where the line between human and machine just dissolves.
Whoa, direct connection.
The ultimate integration. Then you have someone like Yuval Noah Harari, the historian. He offers a more cautious view.
What's his concern?
He warns that these AI-powered interfaces, while seeming helpful, could accidentally create what he calls useless classes.
Useless classes? That sounds harsh.
It's provocative, yeah. His point is, if we become too reliant on AI for thinking, for deciding, for solving problems, if we don't upgrade cognitively ourselves,
we might lose those skills.
We might. And that could create huge societal divides between those who can leverage AI effectively and adapt and those who can't or don't. A new kind of inequality based on cognitive adaptation.
That's a chilling thought.
And then, for perhaps the most radical vision, you look at someone like Elon Musk and his work with Neuralink.
Brain-computer interfaces again.
But he takes it further. He talks about a future where you might not need to talk or type at all.
How would you communicate then?
Telepathically, essentially.
Yeah.
Direct brain-to-brain communication via the interface. Instantaneous thought transfer.
Okay, that's straight up science fiction territory. The potential is immense.
Yeah.
But the ethical questions.
Mind-boggling, right. What is privacy? What is individual identity if thoughts can be shared directly?
It really forces you to ask what human even means in that context.
Which brings us back to Sherry Turkle. Amidst all this high-tech future gazing, her message is profoundly human.
What does she advocate for?
For tech mindfulness. For consciously reclaiming solitude, reflection, real face-to-face connection. She urges us to actively manage our relationship with tech, to pause, to be present, protect the spaces needed for deep thought and genuine human interaction.
A call for balance.
Exactly. A crucial reminder not to lose ourselves in the technology we create.
And these aren't just theories anymore, are they? We're seeing real experiments, real devices, different cultural reactions happening right now.
Absolutely. We mentioned the Humane AI Pin. Regardless of its initial market success, it's a real-world attempt, a tangible product trying to break the smartphone mold.
That screenless approach is radical.
It is. It's testing the waters for a different kind of interaction.
Yeah.
Voice, gestures, projection. It's forcing the question, do we need the screen for everything?
And then there's the ambient stuff already in our homes,
Yeah.
like the Amazon Echo ecosystem.
Right. Millions of people are already controlling lights, music, getting info just by talking to a speaker in the room. No phone involved.
It's already happening, just maybe not labeled ambient computing.
Exactly. It shows how tech can operate in the background, responding naturally. It's a stepping stone towards that more invisible, integrated environment.
And we're also seeing pushback, right?
Yeah.
Like those detox camps in South Korea.
Yeah, that's a fascinating example. South Korea has super high smartphone usage, especially among teens. So the government actually supports these detox camps.
To get kids off their phones.
Pretty much. It reflects official recognition of alarming dependence levels. It's a proactive, if maybe controversial, attempt to address the negative side effects through structured intervention, a sign of how serious the issue is perceived.
And how different cultures handle this varies wildly, doesn't it?
Oh, massively. You look at somewhere like China, as we mentioned, smartphones, especially through super apps like WeChat,
They're used for everything.
everything. Banking, dating, paying bills, social credit scores, accessing government services. It's not just an app, it's the default platform for life itself. Deep, deep integration.
Almost your digital passport for society.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Then you swing over to, say, Scandinavia.
And it's different.
You see strong pushback movements, a focus on digital minimalism. Some schools in Sweden, Norway, they're actually banning smartphones entirely during the school day.
Why?
To boost focus, improve learning, encourage real-world interaction. It's a conscious choice to prioritize certain values over constant connectivity. They see the downsides and are actively trying to mitigate them.
Two very different approaches to the same technology.
And then there's another perspective entirely.
Well-
Look at many parts of Africa.
How are smartphones used there?
Often as leapfrogging technology. In places without good landline infrastructure, smartphones become the first and primary way people access the internet.
Skipping older tech stages.
Exactly. There are vital gateways for information, education, mobile banking like M-Pesa, which revolutionized finance for millions, even accessing healthcare advice. They are tools of massive empowerment and development.
So the same device can be an essential lifeline, a source of addiction concern, and the platform for daily life, all depending on the context.
Precisely. It highlights how technology's impact is never uniform. It's shaped by culture, infrastructure, policy.
Okay, so we've traced the journey, look at the impact, the present saturation, the future possibilities. Let's try and pull it all together now. A critical look. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, dangers.
Sounds good. Let's start with the strengths. The bright side of the smartphone era. It's easy to forget how much good they've brought.
Like what?
Well, number one has to be the democratization of information and connection. Billions of people now have access to knowledge, communication tools that were unimaginable just a generation ago. That's huge for education, global awareness.
Yeah, you can learn almost anything from your phone.
And they've been tools for social change. We mentioned the Arab Spring smartphones helped organize movements, bypass censorship, document events. They gave people a voice.
Empowering individuals.
And not just activists. And think about creators, entrepreneurs, educators. Smartphones provide powerful, accessible tools for starting businesses, creating content, teaching online. They've opened up participation in the economy and culture in massive ways.
Okay, those are some big positives.
Yeah.
But the shadow side, the weaknesses and challenges, we've touched on them already.
We have the psychological dependency, the mental health concerns, anxiety, depression, loneliness. Those are very real and widespread issues.
A constant distraction.
Right, the distraction culture, that feeling of never being able to focus deeply. Our attention spans are arguably suffering because of the constant interruptions and the lure of the feed.
And the privacy erosion.
Definitely. That feeling of being constantly watched, tracked, our data commodified. It's a fundamental challenge to personal autonomy in the digital age.
So looking forward then, beyond the smartphone as we know it, what are the big opportunities?
One exciting area is the potential for truly seamless, less intrusive tech.
Like the smart contact lenses you mentioned.
Yeah, or other wearables that integrate more subtly. Tech that genuinely adds to our experience without demanding our constant attention. Tech that fades into the background, augmenting reality gently.
And better AI.
That's the other huge opportunity. AI integration that truly adapts to us, to human needs, instead of us constantly having to adapt to the technology's demands. AI that understands context, anticipates needs, interacts naturally, becoming a true assistant, freeing up our focus.
But with opportunity comes risk, right? What are the dangers we need to watch out for on the horizon?
A major one is the potential loss of human agency.
Meaning?
If AI gets too good at anticipating us, optimizing things for us, making decisions on our behalf, filtering our news, managing our relationships, nudging our behavior,
we might stop making choices for ourselves.
There's a risk we become passive recipients. That our autonomy, our ability to think critically and make independent judgments, gets eroded without us even noticing.
And what about access?
Yeah.
Will everyone benefit from these next-gen interfaces?
That's the other big danger, tech elitism. If things like advanced BCIs or sophisticated ambient computing environments are super expensive or require specific skills,
they could create a new digital divide.
A potentially much deeper one. Who controls these powerful interfaces? Who gets access to enhanced cognition or seamless integration? Will it uplift everyone or will it widen the gap, creating those useless classes Harari warned about? It's a critical question about equity.
We really are at a crossroads, aren't we? It feels like a pivotal moment.
It does. So, wrapping this up, it's clear the smartphone isn't just gonna poof, disappear tomorrow.
No overnight replacement.
Right, it's too embedded. But it probably will start to fade into the background, become less the centerpiece, more just one node in this larger, maybe invisible web of devices around us.
The future isn't just more rectangles.
No. The vision is more about wearable intelligence, context-aware assistance, augmented environments, moving from carrying a device to living inside a tech-enhanced space, more natural interaction, less screen time.
Which brings us back to that fundamental question, the one that really matters for everyone listening.
What kind of relationship do we actually want with all this technology?
Yeah, it's not just going to happen to us, right?
Yeah.
We have choices to make.
Collectively, yes. Through the products we embrace, the habits we cultivate, the policies we demand, we need to keep asking as we step into whatever comes next.
Will we become more human or more machine?
That's the core of it. The critical choice is making sure these incredible advancements enhance what makes us human, our awareness, our connections, our creativity, our search for meaning.
Rather than eroding those things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the challenge and the opportunity.
A really profound thought to end on. Maybe something to ponder next time you pick up your phone. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into another fascinating topic.